All right, recording started.
Welcome to the Village of East Aurora Board meeting for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance if you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, may we have a roll call?
Trustee Lizikis, Trustee Cameron,
Here.
Trustee Vijay,
Here.
Trustee Flynn,
Here.
Trustee Raby, Trustee Shear,
Here.
Mayor Mercurio, 4 present, 3 absent.
Okay, may I have an approval of minutes of the Village Board meeting for February 3rd, 2025?
So moved.
Moved by Grace,
Second.
second by Molly. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve the payment of the February 18th, 2025 abstract for the 2024-2025 fiscal year with a total of $329,232.10.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Grace.
Yep.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, at this point, we're going to enter into public hearings. We're going to open the public hearing at 7:01 to consider a site plan application for 166 South Grove Street by Lowell Sylvester on behalf of the Aurora Players. There are no exterior changes proposed for this project, but it is a village-owned building. So may I have a motion to open the hearing at 7:01?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen,
Second.
second by
Molly.
Molly. Okay, the public hearing is now open. So if anyone would like to approach the mic, please give us your address, name, and let us know what the event's all about.
This is Lowell Sylvester. Do you have any questions concerning it? We're planning on replacing the seats into the pavilion over the summer. And we'll be redoing the floor and upgrading the inside. That's really about it.
Thank you. Anybody in the audience wish to comment? Okay, may I have a motion to close the public hearing at 7:03?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, we're going to open our second public hearing to consider a special use permit application at 21 Fair Lawn Court. Alex Perez to operate a bed and breakfast on owner-occupied residence. We're going to open this public hearing at 7:03. Okay, may I have a motion to open this second public hearing?
So moved.
Moved by Molly,
Second.
second by Grace. Okay, so this public hearing is now open. Are the applicants here? Okay, does anyone in the audience have anything they wish to say regarding this public hearing? Does anyone on the board have anything they want to discuss?
Nope.
Okay, may I have a motion to close this public hearing at 7:04?
Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Molly, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're moving on to C, to consider a special use permit application for 160 Main Street, Eugene O'Donovan, Favo Pizza Yotality, for the existing restaurant program changes that includes Yotality dessert service run and owned by Favo Brands, increased exterior seating to 68 seats, reduced inside seating to 76 hours of operation from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, and the removal of outside music. So we're going to open this public hearing at 7:05. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Kristen, second by Steve. Okay. This public hearing is now open. Is anyone from Utility, Fable Pizza? Yes. So come on up, sir. Please give us your name and address and let us know what this is all about.
Gene O'Donovan, I'm the owner of Favo and Yotality. I live in Pittsford, New York. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to go through the, up or down.
The wrong height for everything.
I'm either too tall or too short. I'll sit down if that's okay. If there are any specific questions, I'm happy to address them. I can also go through what you just presented. We're looking for approval to make some changes from the Irishman to Favo Pizza, the addition of Yotality as a dessert option inside an existing business. A couple of what I would consider fairly minor changes. Hours of operation have been, our expectation is they will be reduced. No plans for any live music going forward, whereas we had before. With the exception of signage, which has already been approved by the village, no changes are proposed to any of the existing internal or external layout or mechanicals. No changes to bathrooms, cooking, refrigeration. No changes to the patio layout, or to the patio size, rather. No new walls, doors. A minor change to the seating requirements, reducing seating inside and potentially expanding it outside. Just for what it's worth, as far as the operation is concerned, while there are two separate brands, it is one business. Both businesses are owned by my wife and I 100%. We're not a franchise. There's nobody else involved. We owned the Irishman before, and now we want to change it to Favo Pizza and Yotality.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, would anyone in the audience wish to address the board regarding this proposal? Okay, may I have a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved.
Oh, board? Does anyone on the board have any questions for the gentleman? Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to close this public hearing at 7:07?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Moved
Second.
by Molly, second by Steve.
By Grace.
Grace.
By Grace, I'm sorry. Second by Steve. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Next public hearing is to consider site plan application for 634 Main Street. Eric Gauron, Taste Bistro owner, to modify the existing side alley alcove entry with a new door and side light that is flush with his existing building facade. May I have a motion to open this public hearing at 7:08?
So moved.
Moved by Steve,
Second.
second by Grace. Okay, this public hearing is now open. Is the applicant in the audience? Hello, sir.
Hello. I'll try standing. Eric Garan, Taste, 634 Main Street.
Okay.
And as you may know, we're remodeling. We took over the space behind us, formerly Reds. And as part of the remodel, we wanted to move the existing side door, which is in that alcove flush with the exterior of the building, as you stated, just to gain some more flexibility and square footage inside to allow us a little bit more flexibility in doing that. So as I told the planning board, I'm just here to move a door.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Board have any questions for Mr. Gauron?
No.
No? How about people in the audience? Anybody have any comment regarding this proposal? Okay. May I have a motion to close this public hearing at 7:09?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen,
Second.
second by Steve. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, at this point, we move to speakers and communications. There will be a second speakers and communications toward the end of the meeting. If you wish to address the board, please approach the mic. so that you may be recorded, and give us your name and address. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Dale Morris, and I live at 268 Walnut Street in East Aurora. I have a brief statement to make regarding what else? The tree issue. And I've handed the statement in just so you'd have it for a copy of it for your public record. No doubt you have recently heard many comments, some of them well justified, about the tree situation. I'm not here tonight to talk about which trees or which streets are having issues. Instead, what I really want to address is where do we go from here? How do we go forward? We're going to get past this tree issue that's currently underway, but then what happens in the future when another utility disrupts a neighborhood, or some sort of ice storm or windstorm tears down trees, or we have some sort of blight that comes through, like we've had in some areas in New York State with the emerald ash borer. How do we make better decisions regarding going forward to make sure that East Aurora will always have this brilliant, bright, vibrant canopy of trees? Just a little bit of my background. I am retired from 40 years of public service working as an urban planner for Erie County. While there, I created the Office of Geographic Information Services, and I was director of it for about 20 years. I'm sure that many of you have seen, hopefully have used, the online mapping system from the Erie County GIS, which is, we've always called our flagship product. We were one of the first counties in New York State to have an online presence like that. Very proud of that. Very pleased to hear people coming up to me and just mentioning, without even knowing who I was, saying, have you tried that county's mapping system? It's really cool. So, at its heart, a GIS system like we were running is all about collecting, analyzing, and displaying data in a method that is very relatable, understandable to people. The results are typically some sort of map display, and it's very easy for people to understand what's going on. What I would like to see is the village invest in some sort of information system designed to collect and display data about our trees. Simply put, good information leads to better decisions. This system would begin with an inventory, which I understand was done a while ago, but it seriously needs to be updated. Systems based on GIS technology are out there, and they use information that would be gleaned from that inventory that needs to be updated. Other communities in this area, such as Lancaster and Amherst, are already using such systems, which are GIS-based, to manage their tree inventory. The decisions that we make today, going forward, will have an impact on future generations for many, many years to come. And I really sincerely want to make sure that those generations wind up being thankful for the decisions that are being made right here in this building today. So an investment in GIS technology, in updating the inventory, investing in some of the technology, will lead to better decisions. And oftentimes you would find that they actually lead to solutions that were even heretofore unseen because of the visual nature of this technology. So I'm encouraging you to go forward. I'm confident we can do better. We must do better. And we can do that beginning by investing in information and in new technology to help our old friends, the trees. So,
Yeah, I appreciate the, I've used the GIS system, and it's wonderful.
Good.
If you could send this information perhaps to the village office,
yeah,
we could look it over, we could have us as trustees.
Do you want me to respond to that?
Yeah.
We do have GIS system. We did buy it
from Wendell.
about a year ago.
Yep.
And doing the trees is one of the things on our, we have started with water, Jeff? Yes. So we're working on water right now. When water gets done, I believe trees is the next one that we have planned. So that is our intention, is to do the trees. The inventory that was done in the past, I believe was done with some volunteers. And in order to get some of the grants, we can't have volunteers do the
Right.
the location and stuff like that, they actually have to be a paid employee who does it, or an arborist. So we have to kind of do it ourselves. We have to finish the water first, and that is next on our agenda.
So I did look at the GIS system that's online for the village, and yeah, right now it's pretty much a basic system. Like you said, it doesn't have trees on it. I'm glad to hear that you are going in that direction. I think, getting that sort of information collected where we can analyze it, display it, will help in the future, maybe avoid some of the problems that we're currently experiencing. So,
Well, thank you for your efforts in your career, because it's benefited everyone in Erie County. I've used it. It's terrific.
excellent.
Great tool.
Good to hear.
So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else wish to address the board? Come on up. Please state your name and your address.
My name is, excuse me, my name is Lynn Camara. I live at 170 Pine Street here in East Aurora. I also would like to bring up a point about the trees. I have some photographs. May I hand them out? Thank you. These pictures represent a couple of trees on Gray Street. They are examples of just 2 such trees that have been actually butchered as they're being pruned. I teach pruning for the Cornell Cooperative Extension, and the basic rule of pruning is not to leave those stubs. There's no growth from them. These trees will die eventually. My question is, have you considered the cost of removing the trees when they die that have been badly pruned? There are so many around the village that are potentially going to die. Who's going to pay for this? Has it been budgeted for? Not only the tree removal, but the stump removal? I mean, have you considered this as a cost to the village? That's my question. Thank you.
We have, other meetings, we did address that. Every year, we allocate a certain number of trees to be planted. And as a matter of fact, NYSEG actually donates some trees as well. And in previous discussions, we've agreed to any tree that lost a certain amount of canopy, as you said, may or may not make it, and we would choose to take them right out and then replace.
So that would be not at the homeowner's cost? It would be the...
Currently, we did discuss the village.
Well, the company who's doing this stuff right now is taking the tree down.
Right.
The canopy is over that. If a tree dies, the DPW takes it down and we do the stump grinding for it.
Okay.
Because it's in the right-of-way. It's in the right-of-way. It's a
Yeah.
village tree.
But you're right, if it dies because they killed it, are we still on the hook to take it down?
Well, that's
It's what does it
Years.
yeah, that's a tough
Yeah.
question.
Well, no, I mean, if it dies, if this year it has no growth or something like that,
Okay, well, thank you for considering this as a potential problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to address the board?
Hi, my name's Holly Maciejewski, and I live at 218 Center Street, and I'm here about the trees, too. Oh, I can't deal with this. Okay, there. So the first thing I wanted to say is I watched the YouTube of last month's meeting, which I missed, and I really wanted to point out about the village board when I had things going on with Walnut and Prospect Street. All of you on the board and the mayor had such patience and were so helpful with me. Like, if you had me blocked, my number blocked, I wouldn't have blamed you. But you did it. And I just think that that's what our board does, and you should be commended for that. And, we're all coming here asking you to, do something about this tree thing and that. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, they have full-time jobs that they work at. This is a service they're doing for us, and yet we're putting all of this on. There's so many, everybody keeps on saying it's so layered. There's so many different things about it. Well, it is. So I just think that I would like it if we can help with that, because it's almost too much. And I think maybe that's the way they've designed this process. Very well could be, between the tree company and NYSEG and GoNet. And a couple other points I wanted to bring up is GoNet. The last time I spoke, I said that Oak Hill Capital had a valuation of $1.2 billion. That was on January 9th. On February 2nd, they have a valuation of $1.4 billion. Oak Hill Capital is who owns GoNet. And at the town meeting, the GoNet representative said that they were trying to do this as economically as possible. Well, they made $200 million in 25 days, 8 million per day. So GoNet they're doing great. They're profiting. Our community is losing, and I think we have to keep that in mind because it's really important. Then another thing that I found today is our codes are, from what I understand, and maybe, Chris, you can tell me I'm wrong, but I called Senator Gallivan's office to find out about this, and they looked it up, and they said they couldn't find anything to say it wasn't that way, that although we have to allow it, they have to follow our codes, our village code when it comes to these improvements, maintenance, trees, and we have multiple village codes that address exactly what's going on. So again, they've looked through to see, I thought maybe state laws superseded it or something, our village code. I don't know how that works. I mean, I was in the hospitality business and, a mom. I don't know how that works, but I figured Senator Gallivan's office would maybe know that. So just quickly, there are all the historic districts, which are many, and the mid-Maine overlay, that is part of the codes that have to do with historic, which is the ones that I found that really pertained, which I won't read to you because I'm probably getting close to my time already, but 156.1, 156.2, 156.3, and 156.5. When it comes to trees, it's 241, 243, 240, and those are -1, 4, and 6. So our codes should be able to protect us from what's going on here. They have to follow our village code. That's why we have it. So that's something I'd be really interested in us pursuing, because I think that it's a matter of all of us doing this. It's not, 8 people who serve us to do it. And the other thing is, I feel this part is sort of the emperor's new clothes. We're told that we're dealing with NICEAG, yet this is what I see when I go on our village board website. Call GoNet Fiber for tree trimming questions and that. They are pretending that it's NICEAG, but it's not. It is a private concern, very profitable private concern, which is hurting our community. So that's basically what I had to say. And again, to thank you all and hope that, you realize that as a community, we look to you to help, but we're here also to do our part because we love our community. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Chris,
Yeah, I'm just looking at 156, for example.
I know Mid-Maine District.
Historic preservation,
Yeah.
which
Mid-
I will call Senator, I know Pat.
Yeah,
I'll
Mid-
get them a call.
Mid-Maine District has no lines on it.
Yeah, the other historic districts are also delineated, which are like Pine Street, Park, there's East Main. I have a sheet with it that I'll give to you in a second.
Yeah, there are no lines on Mid-Maine, most of it.
Pardon me?
Mid-Maine doesn't have any lines on it, on the street.
Oh, it's the mid-Main overlay?
Mid-Maine has the lines run behind Charlie's Diner on the one side, and on the other side, they have, I think there are other lines, but there are no poles down the Mid-Maine, most of the Mid-Maine area.
Right. I think it's behind it is also part of it, according to the map. The legend shows it's with the little lines, and that goes back down the streets a ways, the mid-Maine overlay. And then the historic districts are quite a few. I mean, I'll share this with you.
All right, Chris can look into that.
Chris, you need a minute just to...
No.
So to respond to your comment about NICEAG, I did speak to their government liaison, I guess, I don't know a better word for it. And thank you for your comments on it's not just the people up here. It takes a community, right? It takes a village to get things done. And without all your support and prodding and inquisition on different things and inquiring to NYSEG and following people helps us a lot. And in speaking to him, it's New York State law that NYSEG has to allow someone such as Go NetSpeed to attach to their poles. And there was a question regarding the OSHA, OSHA is a safety organization that enforces safety regulations for all industries. And they actually do regulate that 10-10-15 cut around the wires. And the reason it was explained to me, and my understanding of it is, the lines up top that you see, the little insulators that people used to collect, the glass ones, those are the high voltage lines, and those are always up top. The communication lines are the ones that are lower, and by code and law, they have to be so far apart. With Go NetSpeed being one of, I don't know how many on there, that's why some of the poles need to be changed to address the heights of the wires and things like that to accommodate. And the OSHA requirement, which I questioned them twice on, the reason for that is safety, because communication guys aren't high-power electric guys. Two different skill sets and knowledge, and it's more safety for the people working on the lines versus, unfortunately, the aesthetics of the trees and things like that. So that's how it was explained to me, and that's my understanding of that portion of what's going on. So.
But although we have to allow them to do it, I'm supposed to stand up, I think that they still have to follow our codes, and we have.
They do, but I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
But the trees, the immediate cut around that, we may or may not, and I'm not sure, I'll let Chris answer that one, whether our codes can encompass that. That's all.
Yeah, let's move on to the next. Chris can read, and he can come back to this later. Anybody else wish to address the board?
Hi, I'm Ellen Newmeyer, 284 Mill Road, and I thank you all for giving us this opportunity. Today, I got a letter that says, "Listen to the trees," so I'm here to speak for them since they can't by themselves. I'm sure when their limbs are severed, etc., and their centers cut out, they're probably crying out. But anyway, I'm not here to, do that. Background, I've been on the tree board for 20 years. I've always been supportive of environmental things. Certainly our village community and our tree our tree town, it's really been beautiful. And I know just the feeling of driving to here from somewhere else that's much more sterile and barren. I mean, it gives you, a different feeling. So anyway, I'm just suggesting we do something. A couple things. Bradley Tree is, have certified arborists and are excellent. If there are questions, I think they should be called in to, to answer some of these when some of the, trees are being decimated. Also, there's a budget coming up, and each year we do have a budget for trees. I don't have the figures at hand, but I suggest we triple that. And because of this particular year and all the damage that's being done, and somewhere I think in our tree, whatever the thing is called, all the rules and regulations, that if a street tree is cut down, it needs to be replaced by 2 trees. So we should do that, or maybe 3. Anyway, let's do something.
It is part of our code, isn't it, on Main
Mid-Main.
Street?
I think it
Mid-Main
is.
only.
Mid-Main
Or
only.
just mid-Main?
Mid-Main it's
Replaced by
within that code.
You cut
But
one, you
we
place two.
also, we have quite a few trees. I think, what is it, 50, Jeff? this year, but that's probably the most that the DPW can properly plant. Because it's beyond that, they just don't have the manpower. So 50 trees, that's quite a few trees. I would think, Chris, right, or Jeff, 50 this year?
Yeah, I think we're going to be a little over 50 with the NICEAG trees coming. Since I've been at the DPW, I actually counted this week. I've planted over 500 trees since 2011.
So that is a plan, and gator bags, we'll have gator bags with a lot of them.
Yep.
So hopefully the survival rates will increase. And also not allowing people to plant those trees under the lines to, so we don't have the problem 50, 60 years from now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and it just, we can't,
He's going to be going through the air by now.
and it's terrible. It's hard to watch it. It's very difficult to see what's happened.
Yeah.
He should have won.
It's upsetting. Okay, well, thank you,
Okay,
Mrs.
thank you.
Dumar. Appreciate it. Anybody else?
Nancy Smith, 195 Sycamore Street. And I actually wanted to start tonight by apologizing for a number of my statements at the last meeting. I must admit that the daily witnessing of the damage to our trees and our community had me feeling kind of a sense of urgency that every day and every week really matters. So I apologize for focusing on the short term when this is really more like a marathon, and relationships matter more than any individual tree, even if I do hate to lose a tree. So together, I hope we can focus on the big picture and what we can accomplish together. And I think that we have had some really significant accomplishments since this project began. And I think they're worth celebrating. So Jeff now gets a weekly update with information on where the O'Connell crews will be working. We didn't have that before. I think that's really cool. O'Connell was careful to do recent work on Elm Street on a day when many of the businesses were closed. And they notified the Elm Street Bakery in advance when their power was going to get turned off. These are significant things. Finally, as you guys requested, we've had a group of volunteers, including a number who are in this room, run around and identify a dozen what we're calling right now heritage trees. So, Jeff, I don't know, have you had a chance to look over that list? Do you have the most current list? Yeah. Is that okay with you? Yep. Okay. So I have it finished tonight. I just got back in town, so I'll leave that with you guys to take a look at. But I did want to point out that just because volunteers like it and found it out, and it's okay with Jeff, even if it's okay with you guys, it doesn't really matter unless both Go NetSpeed and NICEAG agree to honor the protection of those trees. So that's kind of the next important work that needs to happen. So I've had a chance in the last few weeks to talk with Chris Nosby from NICEAG and Erin Perry. She's the lead at NICEAG's Vegetation Management Program, and Chris Brooks at Go NetSpeed. So as NICEAG was planning that 44,000-mile utility corridor vegetation management, they described their prioritization of communities that have high levels of power outages. So they also described how they provide, their service area is about 40% of upstate New York. That's the way they described it to me. So I wanted to see the data, and I asked for the data. And that's when they clarified that actually their data wasn't broken down to differentiate a village from a town. They didn't look at it that way. I mean, we know we don't have a lot of power outages, but if you're in the town, you totally do. So we're having our trees trimmed excessively for a problem we don't have. We also talked, and Steve, someday we'll get to the bottom of this trim box thing. There's so many layers and it's so confusing.
I was on the phone with Chris. That was today. Actually, I spoke with him.
So there is this 10, 10, 10, 15, and I asked why there were other municipalities in our very own state that have a smaller trim box, because it must be possible if other communities have that.
He did not admit to that to me. He says, this is all I'm aware of. And,
Yeah, well,
and the district thing, separating the town from the village.
Right.
He said it's a circuit. So they look at circuits that go down, and that doesn't distinguish whether it's out on
Right.
Boise or on Main.
This is where we go to Chris,
So-
because it matters.
It does, but
Yeah.
he made it sound to me as though it really, as far as the tree cutting, the box, the
Yep,
perimeter,
Yep.
they don't differentiate, is what he was telling me, unless you spoke to someone.
No,
with
but
the
this is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
We talked the other day.
The Batavia, yeah.
Just because he says that's not what they do doesn't mean it's not what we can make them do by pressing the
Exactly.
issue. So, let's see. So, and again, the smaller trim box was in places that were, she said, we only do this because the majority of our service area is rural. We didn't bother making a littler trim box. I don't know how many villages they have. So we need to force this issue, I think, really, really hard. Because, so we're receiving services for a problem our village doesn't have in a way that's more extreme than it needs to be. And I'm not good at crunching numbers. My husband was doing this while we were on an airplane today. It looks like it's about a 50% reduction if we go to 66610 instead of the 10-10-10-15. Somebody else that's good at math can work on that. But I think that's worth going to bat for. It's worth fighting for because it would make a huge difference in what we're experiencing. And the other thing I'm just not positive about is, we have these higher poles, and I agree, Steve, there's all these different distances that things have to be. But when I walk around the village, what I see is, I'm just not positive, and maybe you asked about this, that they are not cutting by where the wires are now instead of where they're going to be. I feel like there are cuts on the tree that are nowhere near those wires that are high up. And I just want to make sure we don't miss that and call that out and not let them do that. So finally, I'm hopeful that you will consider assembling something that I'm calling the Tree Trimming Task Force, the TTTF. Perhaps it could be just a pilot. I feel like it's urgent, and it could meet for an hour once a week for a month in the village conference room. Jeff said his office is torn up right now. We could have Jeff, a representative from the tree board, Jarrett Weber, the attorney's office, if you guys would like them to be there. Shane could make sure everything we talk about gets relayed to the mayor and the trustees, and I would welcome the opportunity to participate. Isn't it worth kind of trying it for a month to see if we can find some additional, identify and pursue some additional successes? So, and I know what it's like to get harassed about stuff all the time too. When I finally left the tree board, it was because somebody asked me in the grocery store one too many times questions about trees. So I so appreciate all that you guys are doing, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Jeff, when do you get that report where they're going to be and how far in advance?
Stan usually gets a hold of me Monday morning.
And it's for that week?
Yeah. He doesn't really know until probably Monday.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping maybe if we could communicate with them, and it doesn't necessarily have to be you, I could call, or you could call, or both of us, and see if they could get their marching orders maybe on a Friday, and if we could disseminate that to interested people, maybe they go down.
They've already said they will tell us, but they don't necessarily want it released to the public.
Okay.
Isn't the town doing that now?
Because of having issues with, they had a issue that they reported to us, and they want to prevent having
I got you.
future issues with having people show up.
Understood. If people cared enough, though, they'd drive around and find them.
Absolutely.
Anyway, the village isn't that large.
Right.
So my thought was maybe, and if it is only board members or one or two board members that want to do it, drive around and go, that, and that look like areas that could be potential sticking points, so to speak. And then address it with their foreman and say, hey, you know what? I know you got to do your thing, but can we pay special attention and maybe not go so aggressive on these areas and play nice and ask nice, and for a week or two, I'd be willing to be the lead on that one, Jeff, if you don't want to be. I would do that for a week or two just to see if it does promote any different action. So,
Yeah.
let me know. Mondays are usually a day I can do.
Okay.
You would think it would save them some labor, not
Well-
making as much off the trees, but on the other hand, if they have a contract, it might be I'd like to see their contract, how specific it is.
Well, it really, what I was, when my conversation with Chris, and I don't even want to pronounce his last name because there's a silent and a K and not, and it's a long O, and so anyway, he made it sound as though NYSEG, they're not out of it, they just have to permit this to happen, and it's really Go Netsby and O'Connell that are driving the cut. That's all I know.
But they are by the rules that NYSEG laid down to them. Is the way NYSEG and O'Connell.
Well, there's standards. He cited ANSI and the OSHA. So, and whether that's the only ones out there or whether they're flexible, I'm unaware of that.
I mean, they're definitely not the only ones out there. Nancy, if you want to.
No, I heard the different cities have.
I'm not talking about tree-by-tree decisions. I'm talking about other things getting researched for a while, just trying that kind of conversation.
Okay.
It's not a history to this thing, it's other.
Well, it might minimize some things that you don't want to see in the village, and that's my thought, immediate. And long-term, I even asked him, I said, well, geez, it sounds like this horse is already out of the barn. What are we going to do? And I told him what I had said a few meetings ago about, I think it's a capitalization project versus, and he says, well, wait there. He goes, NYSEGs, we have to let them on. He says, we didn't choose to say, oh, come on aboard so we make more money. He said, we have to let them do it. And that's why he said the onus was more on those two entities rather than NYSEG. And I don't know if they dictate down their policies and standards. So.
Okay, anybody else wish to address the board? Come on up, sir. Please state your name and your address.
Bob Colligan, 873 Porterville Road. Formerly, I lived on Knox Road in the village. And I think I might have been one of the founding tree board meetings because Ellen Newmeyer said she's been on there 20 years, and I know she started after me, so I was on there a long time ago. But like everybody, I was just shocked when I saw these first trees and thinking, where's the tree board? was my first thought. Mm-hmm. And I just think the trees bring so much to the village, mm-hmm. and the amount of birds and nature and a lot of things, people really don't appreciate how much trees makes a difference. We have a real gem, and it's just heart-wrenching to see what happened. And I want to be very brief here, but I do think, what I think, somebody just mentioned the horses out of the barn. It seems like you got a lot of people working on this urgent problem, but I really hope, and maybe it's something like a lot of our citizens get together and try to help do a lot of legwork, and we could come up with a long-term comprehensive plan of what we're going to do next time so this never happens again. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address the board? You want to come back up again? Just keep it brief so,
Yeah, I will. Holly Maciejewski, 218 Center. And really, the only thing I also saw on that last video, YouTube video, was about our arborist, our village arborist, Jared Weber. And I don't know why we would expect him to work for free, number one. And if any time we needed to pay him and have him, it would be now. The arborist that's been working for O'Connell is working for them, and it's quite obvious. And we can see in our trees that that's not really working. So why are we not bringing him on? I don't understand that. I don't understand what his contract would be like, but it certainly seems like if we needed him ever, it's right now. That's what I had. And I'll give you all these papers.
He is paid.
Jeff speaks to him fairly regularly.
So has he apprised the whole situation?
Well, let's let Mr. Stoll.
Yeah, so I talked to Jared. He calls me a lot. I call him a lot. Actually, a few residents in the village have contacted him when they heard O'Connell was coming to their property. And for most cases, Jared was very satisfied with Stan's work. He's kind of stuck in the middle. Like, he gets what they have to do, but he says their techniques are great. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
What about what we're seeing, such as on Sycamore Street? Does he approve of that, best for our village and our trees?
I wouldn't say he approves, but they're doing what they have to do, he says. Like, their techniques are great. He said he's satisfied with the properties he's been to.
Okay. It seems crazy to me, but I'll give you these
And I
papers.
believe he is paid.
He is
correct?
paid, yes.
Yeah, he's paid. It's not a volunteer position.
Oh, on the meeting last, it said that they call him and he does it for free and he emails you for free and that's just what I saw in the YouTube video. So that's why I thought he wasn't paid.
Sometimes he doesn't charge.
I
That's
see.
not us.
But
I
he is,
see.
but he is paid if we need him for a
Yeah.
extensive, you know.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? Chris, come on up.
Hey guys, Chris Welch, 451 Stoley Road. Sorry. I'm here about Music Fest. We talked last time. Wanted to check and see, did you guys have any new questions since last time? And I know I dumped a lot of information on you last time, so I wanted to see if you had a chance to digest it, come up with any questions. So I brought some new information because when we talked last time, I think one of the big concerns was security. Obviously, we got a chance to sit down with our security company, get the first itineration of our security plan. I dropped it off to Chief Welch today, and I've got a meeting later on with him. But I kind of wanted you guys to get eyes on it as well, so that way if you have any questions, we can do it. We also have our final list of venues. As far as it goes, this is going to also help us start tackling, hopefully, the parking issue and congestion, because what you'll notice on here is Barbell's not on here, which will hopefully free up a need for the crosswalk, the public parking that is normally taken up by the tent over there should free up, so hopefully that has a little bit of congestion release. And then as well, as a formality, we're having all of the venues we use sign a contract just in regards to when they're going to close, not doing additional activities before or after Music Fest, so, you know, no post parties, things of that nature to kind of hopefully encourage people once the music's done to start vacating the village a little bit sooner. So just wanted to drop this off to you guys.
Give it to Sister Akis.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have questions for Chris, or?
I also think I was a little remiss last meeting because I left two people off of our board on there. We've kept John on board as a consultant to help us with a lot of things and smooth the transition. And we just brought Mike O'Connor on in more of an at-large role. Obviously, I think you guys saw Elizabeth Grew as our accountant on there. And then we have myself, we have an attorney, Rick Borman, to kind of make sure we're crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. And then we have Ali Pelletro, who is our administrator, who's done some paperwork to kind of make our lives easier. But at least wanted to get that out to you and then let you know that's the first itineration. We'll meet with Chief Welch and kind of go from there.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we had a meeting scheduled for February 11th, which you had to cancel.
Yes.
So hopefully you'll be contacting the administrator to reset a meeting so that these items can be discussed.
Yes.
Because it's my understanding that the board is looking for the department head's approval before they move forward on this, unless I'm wrong.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yep. Actually, I think I was waiting for Shane to reach out to me. In your email, you said you were going to reach out. So I was just waiting on that.
Okay.
And this was more just kind of letting you guys know we're hearing what you say and we're trying to resolve those issues and, you know, getting as many eyes on it as possible. I feel like, you know, if everyone gets a chance to look at the plan, we might find the holes in it a lot faster.
Thank you, because the more often you come in front of us,
Yeah.
the more familiar, not only are we with you, but what action is going forward. And there's a comfort zone as opposed to living in a void and going, oh boy.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So-
I'm hopeful we'll be able to bring even minor updates as kind of move the process along to each meeting and flesh out any pre-existing issues, you know, kind of. So by the time we get there, we're hopefully got as much of them as resolved as possible.
The day you got to turn that 75 days ahead or whatever
exactly.
it is. If it could be 100% resolved, that's the best case scenario, right?
That's the goal. But I think also, removing Barbell frees up a lot of parking, eliminates all that traffic moving back and forth across the road. I think that at least is going to help give us some leverage there, I think. Any other questions? All right, I'll see you guys next
Thank you,
time.
Chris.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the board during speakers' communication? Okay, there will be a second speakers and communications at the end of the meeting. Let's move on to official considerations. May I have a motion to approve a determination of non-significance pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act in the matter of site plan application for 166 South Grove Street by Lowell Sylvester on behalf of the Aurora Players? There are no exterior changes proposed for this project, but it is a village-owned building.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Kristen, second by Steve. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. B, may I have a motion to consider a site plan application for 166 South Grove Street by Lowell Sylvester on behalf of the Aurora Players? There are no exterior changes proposed for this project, but it is a village-owned building.
So moved.
Moved by Steve.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. C, may I have a motion to consider a special use permit application for 21 Fairlawn Court, Alex Perez, to operate a bed and breakfast and owner-occupied residence.
So moved.
Moved by Steve.
Yeah.
Second.
Full second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion? All in favor?
Do we want to wait till the applicant's here?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't love voting on it without hearing
Okay,
them.
so the applicant is not here, so let's
Table it?
let's table that. Let's table C.
So do I
May I have a
table it?
motion to table item C?
Steve?
So moved.
Moved by Steve,
Second by me.
second by Molly. Motion to table, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion has been tabled. Okay, moving on to D. May I have a motion to consider a special use permit application for 160 Main Street, Eugene O'Donovan, Favo Pizza Utility, for the existing restaurant program changes that include utility dessert service run and owned by Favo Brands, increased exterior seating to 68 seats, reduce inside seating to 76, hours of operation from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, and the removal of outside music. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Steve,
Second.
second by Grace. Further discussion?
I just wanted to check, Rich, are we still good on parking requirements?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing has changed in regards to that aspect of the facility.
Yeah, just because of the 30 additional seats, that's why I was checking. Okay. If we're
Okay,
good,
any
I'm
other
good.
questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to E, may I have a motion to approve a determination of non-significance pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act in the matter of site plan application for 634 Main Street, Eric Gauron, Taste Bistro owner, to modify the existing side alley, alcove entry, with a new door and side light that is flush with existing building facade.
So moved.
Moved by Grace.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. F, may I have a motion to consider site plan application for 634 Main Street, Eric Gauron, Taste Bistro owner, to modify the existing side alley alcove entry with a new door and side light that is flush with the existing facade.
So moved.
Moved by Steve,
Second. Second.
second by Kristen. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. G, may I have a motion to approve temporary use permit for Bunny Hop 5K Rotary Club, Sean Cunningham, April 19th, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
So moved.
Moved by Molly,
Second.
second by Steve. Further discussion? Applicant, anything?
I don't have any changes for that one this year at all.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion, any questions?
Goes by my house twice. It's fun.
Good. Someday I'll run it, maybe.
I'll walk it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. H, May I have a motion to approve Hamlin Park temporary use permit for the Kiwanis Club of East Aurora for a chicken barbecue, Sean Cunningham, June 4th, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
So moved.
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second by Molly. Further discussion? Sean, anything to add?
I was informed that there was an issue with the coals last year. We will take care of that this year, but there's nothing in the change for that one either.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Aye. Permission for the mayor to sign a service agreement with Bradley Tree for arborist services.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen,
Second.
second by Steve. Further discussion?
Can't deny that.
Do we need to up that at all?
Well, it's just an hourly rate. It's a
Okay.
routine contract that we get updated every few years.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. J, may I have a motion to set a public hearing for Monday, March 17th, 2025, for a site plan application for 123 Gray Street to install an emergency generator to service the Michael's Fire Pump, a dumpster enclosure for home goods, and construct an 825-square-foot exterior patio within the existing concrete sidewalks on the north side of the outbuilding Mighty Taco Building. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved
Second.
by Grace, second by Steve. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. K, may I have a motion to set a public hearing on Monday, March 17th, 2025, for an amended special use permit for Starbucks, James Bolioli of Benderson Development, for a coffee house with 60 interior seating and a proposed outdoor patio for an additional 24 seats.
So moved.
Moved by Steve,
Second.
second by Kristen. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. L has been removed from the agenda. M, may I have a motion to refer to Planning Commission March 4th, 2025, a special use permit application for 636 East Fillmore Avenue submitted by Alex and Nick Robinson to allow a painted wall sign on, or signs on the East Fillmore Avenue and Riley Street facades.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. N, may I have a motion to declare surplus property, 2 police Ford Explorers, to be auctioned off in the next 90 days?
So moved.
Moved by Molly, second by Kristen,
Moved by Grace.
or moved by Grace, I'm sorry. Grace, second by Kristen. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. O, may I have a motion to approve budget adjustments for the 2024-2025 fiscal year?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen,
Second.
second by Molly. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. P, may I have a motion to approve budget modifications for the 2024-2025 fiscal year?
So moved.
Moved by Molly?
Yes.
I got it. Yeah, second by
Second.
Kristen. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to new business. 30-day liquor license, 634 Main Street, Taste Bistro. If anyone has concerns, get them to Maureen. You want to talk about that, or?
If they are giving us their 30-day notice, so if you guys have any concerns, we would send it in. If we don't have concerns, we don't send anything in.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Maureen? No. Okay, moving on to old business, tree update. Jeff? Do we need a tree update? 'Cause I
Yes,
had
so
one.
like I said, I've been getting updates from Stan every Monday. I also got in contact with the linesman foreman that does the road closures. He lets me know ahead of time about that. I stress to him that businesses need to know if power is being shut off. Other than that, I believe O'Connell left for a few days to go help with storm damage, so there probably won't be any work this week.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. How about?
I've got a
Sorry.
couple extra points on that. We were asked to put up a timeline of this whole Go Net Speed project, which is currently on the website. A meeting or two ago, we were asked about how many letters we received regarding the trees, and the clerks went through them all, and we had 14 letters and 33 emails sent to us regarding that.
All opposed, I assume.
Yes.
Actually, one was for.
Was one?
It wasn't against the tree trunk.
Right.
Okay.
And just to point out, some were town residents outside the village, some were town residents of another town. So,
We actually got snail mail letters? Letters?
Oh, yeah.
Letters?
It was
There
a
was a-
form letter that you just signed.
yeah.
Oh, so it was, okay, all right.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, how about Safety Committee, Jeff? North Street parking.
Yeah. Did Pat send you guys a letter about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got it.
Okay, anything else you want to add to that, or?
Do we have to change local law?
Yeah, if you guys want to do that, you'd have to set a public hearing at this meeting.
I live
or-
on North Street and the neighbors are for it, so I think we should.
You want to set a public hearing right now?
Yes.
For March 17th.
Yes.
That's a national holiday, isn't it?
We could pick a different
We can
day.
pick a
No, I don't care.
That'll be the fourth public hearing on St.
Yeah,
Patrick's Day.
let's make it a different, mid-April.
Can it be the second meeting in April?
Yeah.
Okay. The second meeting in April.
Whatever that is. Thank you.
Okay,
So you need a motion for that.
yeah. May I have a motion to schedule a public hearing for April 21st, 2025 regarding amending the code or law, North Street parking.
So moved.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Public hearing is set. Okay, moving on to our second, speakers and communications. Anyone wish to address the board? Okay. All set. Department head reports. We'll start with Jeff.
I just want to encourage residents. We've had a couple of calls about falls on sidewalks to try to keep up on their sidewalks with ice and snow. There's been several calls this past 2 weeks.
We've been doing it, but they were out of salt everywhere.
Yeah.
I got the last 2 acres and, okay, anything else, Jeff?
That's it.
Lieutenant Bastine?
I currently don't have anything to report on.
That's good. Chief? Let's keep
I
it
have
moving.
nothing also.
Okay, Rich?
Nothing this evening.
Mr. Krieger?
Just one thing, I've been helping out with 42 North had some concerns over the reconstruction of Pine Street. The whole front of their business has no curb at this time, and a lot of parking spots are in front of the business. Once they do Pine Street, they're going to have a curb, and that's going to force them to have angled parking in front of their business because there won't be enough room to park perpendicular. So we've been working with the county to try to get their aprons adjusted to better fit that, because it was going to be an issue going forward, and it seems like the county's fine with doing that to help them out, so they should be all set.
Is that an apron along the whole front, or just two?
No, it's,
either side?
the whole front's going to be a curb. They're going to have the entrance in front of the doors, and then they're going to have the alley entrance. So I think the plan is to have all cars parking in front to pull in one way coming from the entrance, park at an angle, and then back out and go out the alley entrance, which should work.
A nice solution.
Yeah.
Is that pole moving?
That pole is not moving, but that should be in between the sidewalk and the curb. So
Boy, there are going to be people driving over that curb.
With the way the apron's going to be adjusted.
Yep. They're in the habit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thump.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
No, that's great, thank you.
Anything else, Shane? No? All set? Maureen, I know you're on vacation, but you have anything you want to say?
We're still charging ahead with that software. My team is working on that, all the clerks. So
That's yeoman's work, right? That's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, appreciate your efforts. Anything else?
No.
Grace?
I'm all set.
Molly?
I'm good.
Kristen?
Aaron didn't say it tonight, so I will. Just a reminder to everybody to dig out your fire hydrants also. I just did that today. It's icy and it's a pain in the neck, but it's a lot more of a pain in the neck if there's a fire. So that's all I've got.
I'm all set, thanks.
And I'm all set. So at this point, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion?
Undebatable
Okay.
motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Not bad.
No,
You don't say.
I know, I think
Good job.